What if death could be just a temporary pause button on your life? Right now, hundreds of people are frozen in tanks of liquid nitrogen at minus 196 degrees Celsius, waiting to be brought back to life decades or even centuries from now. Some of the world's richest and most brilliant minds have already done this, betting everything on a future technology that doesn't exist yet. Today, I'm going to reveal the 8 most fascinating cases of people who are currently frozen, waiting for science to catch up with their dreams. From tech billionaires to baseball legends, from a 2-year-old girl to entire families betting on immortality together. Stay until the end, because what you'll discover at number 1 will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about life and death. But first, what's the biggest misconception about cryonics? Most people think it's just freezing a body like meat, and that's completely wrong. The moment a person is declared legally dead, a specialized medical team immediately starts circulating blood and oxygen to prevent brain damage. Then, the blood is replaced with medical-grade antifreeze solutions called cryoprotectants that prevent ice crystals from destroying cells. The body is gradually cooled to minus 196 degrees Celsius and stored upside down in giant tanks of liquid nitrogen. Why upside down? Because if there's ever a leak, the head, which contains all your memories, stays submerged the longest. The science is based on one principle. If your brain structure remains intact, the information that makes you who you are is still there, just paused. And here's what nobody talks about. We already revive people every day. When someone's heart stops during surgery, we cool them down, operate, and warm them back up. Cryonics is just taking that concept to the extreme. Number 8. James Bedford, the first frozen pioneer. On January 12, 1967, Dr. James Bedford, a 73-year-old psychology professor dying of kidney cancer, became the first person ever cryopreserved. The technology in 1967 was primitive compared to today's standards. They didn't have advanced cryoprotectants or sophisticated cooling protocols. Yet Bedford's body has been maintained for over 57 years, transferred between facilities, and examined periodically. In 1991, when moved to Alcor Life Extension Foundation, technicians reported he was in remarkably good condition considering the crude 1960s methods. Bedford's case proved something crucial. Long-term cryopreservation is actually possible. Every year that passes without failure is another data point proving viability. What's most striking is his foresight. In 1967, freezing people was pure science fiction. There was no established industry, no proven track record, nothing but hope and theoretical science. Yet he took the leap, opening the door for everyone who came after. Number 7. Dick Clare and Jenna McMahon, a love beyond death. Dick Clare and Jenna McMahon were a Hollywood power couple, successful television writers who created shows like The Facts of Life and Mama's Family. But their greatest collaboration was their decision to face eternity together. When Dick was diagnosed with AIDS in the 1980s, they made a pact. Both would be cryopreserved so they could be revived together in a future where AIDS was curable. Dick was preserved in 1988, and Jenna followed in 2008. What makes their story powerful is the commitment. Jenna lived 20 years after Dick's preservation, never wavering in her decision. She paid the annual storage fees and maintained her own arrangements, keeping their pact alive. If they're both revived, will they still be the same people who fell in love? Will their relationship survive being separated by 20 years of suspended animation? In a world where most couples are separated by death forever, Dick and Jenna chose to bet on science giving them a second chance. Number 6. Hal Finney, the Bitcoin pioneer frozen in time. Hal Finney was a legendary cryptographer and one of the first people to work with Satoshi Nakamoto on Bitcoin. He received the very first Bitcoin transaction in history, and many believe he might have been Satoshi himself. In 2009, Finney was diagnosed with ALS. As his body deteriorated, he continued working on cryptocurrency, typing with his eyes when he could no longer move. Finney had been an Alcor member since the 1990s. When he died in 2014, he was immediately cryopreserved, funded by Bitcoin, the very technology he helped create. What's extraordinary is the symmetry. He pioneered digital immortality through blockchain, creating systems where information could last forever. Then he became a pioneer in biological immortality through cryonics. His preserved brain contains not just his memories, but potentially crucial information about Bitcoin's early days. If Finney is ever revived, he could answer questions that have puzzled the crypto community for years. He understood exponential technological growth better than almost anyone. He saw computers evolve from room-sized machines to smartphones and bet that medical technology would make similar leaps. Number 5. Matharin Naovaratpong, the youngest hope for tomorrow. In 2014, this 2-year-old girl from Thailand was diagnosed with an aggressive brain tumor. Her parents, both medical professionals, exhausted every treatment option. When it became clear Matharin wouldn't survive, they made an agonizing decision: have her brain cryopreserved, giving her a chance at a future life. Matharin died just after her 2nd birthday. Within minutes, a specialized team began preservation. Her brain was carefully removed, treated with cryoprotectants, and frozen. She became the youngest person ever cryopreserved, sparking intense debate. Critics argued that preserving a child who'd barely formed memories was pointless. But her parents believed that even if specific memories couldn't be recovered, her essential self, her personality and potential, might still be encoded in her brain structure. What makes this case compelling is what it says about parental love. They knew the odds were astronomical. They knew revival might be centuries away. They knew their daughter might wake up in a world where they no longer exist. But cryopreservation offered something burial never could: a chance. And for parents facing their child's death, even a 1 in a million chance is better than none. Before we go on, if you're finding the first 4 cases fascinating, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos exploring the cutting edge of science and technology. Number 4. FM 2030, the man who tried to become the future. FM 2030, born Feridun İm Esfandiari, was a futurist and transhumanist who believed humanity was on the verge of radical transformation. He changed his name to FM 2030 because he believed he'd live to see his 100th birthday in 2030. He wrote extensively about life extension, artificial intelligence, and human enhancement, predicting telemedicine, online education, and wearable technology. His most radical belief was that death itself could be solved. When diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 1999, he faced mortality with futurist optimism. He was cryopreserved by Alcor in 2000, becoming a rallying point for the transhumanist movement. What's fascinating is the philosophical consistency. He spent his life arguing that humans should use technology to transcend biological limitations. Cryonics was the ultimate expression, using technology to transcend death itself. If FM 2030 is revived, he'll wake up in the very future he spent his life imagining. Will it match his predictions? Will humanity have achieved the technological transcendence he believed inevitable? His preservation represents the ultimate test of futurism, literally betting your life on your predictions about technological progress. Number 3. Ted Williams, the controversial legend on ice. Ted Williams, one of the greatest baseball players ever, was cryopreserved in 2002, but the circumstances sparked a legal battle exposing cryonics' dark side. Williams's son, John Henry, claimed his father wanted preservation and produced a note allegedly signed by Ted. But Williams's daughter, Bobby Jo, insisted her father wanted cremation, as stated in his will. The legal battle was brutal and public. Eventually, John Henry won, and Ted Williams was preserved at Alcor. But controversy continued. A former Alcor employee claimed Williams's head was mistreated during preservation, allegedly cracked and stored improperly. Alcor denied this, but the damage was done. What makes this case important isn't just celebrity. It's what it reveals about practical and ethical challenges. Who decides if someone should be preserved? What happens when families disagree? How do we ensure proper standards? Williams's case also highlights financial realities. Preservation is expensive, and ongoing storage costs are substantial. What happens if money runs out or the facility goes bankrupt? These are real risks every cryonics patient faces. Despite controversy, Ted Williams remains in suspension, one of the most famous people ever preserved. His case serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of clear documentation and family communication. Number 2. The anonymous billionaires betting on immortality. While some preserved individuals are publicly known, many have chosen complete anonymity. According to insiders at major cryonics facilities, some of the world's wealthiest and most powerful people have already made preservation arrangements. Why the secrecy? They don't want the media circus that surrounded Ted Williams. They don't want family or business partners knowing, avoiding legal challenges. They want to protect their remains from vandalism or interference. What's fascinating is what this reveals about belief in cryonics among the ultra-wealthy. These people have access to the best medical care and life extension treatments available, yet they're still choosing cryonics as their final backup plan. They've achieved everything possible: wealth, power, influence, and they're not ready to give it up. Some facilities offer special high-security preservation for ultra-wealthy clients, undisclosed locations, advanced security, guaranteed funding for indefinite storage. If these anonymous billionaires are revived, they'll wake to a world that moved on without them. Their companies will have new leadership. Their wealth will have been managed by trustees for centuries. Their families will be gone. But they'll still have their memories, intelligence, and potentially their resources. The existence of these secret patients suggests cryonics is taken far more seriously by the world's elite than the public realizes. Number 1. You. The most important case of all. Meet the most important cryonics case. The one that hasn't happened yet. You. Right now, cryonics is available to anyone who can afford it. Full-body preservation costs around $200,000, while neuropreservation, just the head, costs about $80,000. And here's what's crazy. Most people fund it through life insurance, paying just a few $100s a year. Every single person who's ever been cryopreserved was once someone who thought death was inevitable, just like you do right now. Then, one day, they discovered cryonics and realized they had a choice. The question isn't whether cryonics will work. The question is whether you're willing to bet on the future. Because here's the reality. If you choose traditional burial or cremation, your chance of revival is exactly 0, guaranteed forever. But if you choose cryopreservation, your chance might be small, maybe 1%, maybe 50%. Nobody knows, but it's not 0. And that makes all the difference. The future is coming faster than anyone expected. We've mapped the human brain, created artificial organs, and reversed aging in animals. Companies are working on mind uploading, artificial bodies, and technologies that would have seemed like magic decades ago. In 1950, replacing a human heart seemed impossible. By 1967, it was done. In 1990, editing human genes seemed like science fiction. By 2020, CRISPR was in clinical trials. Technology doesn't just advance, it accelerates. And cryonics patients are betting on that acceleration. What we've just seen is the reality of cryonics in 2025. From the first frozen pioneer to the baseball legend, from the youngest patient to the anonymous billionaires, We're witnessing people who refused to accept death as final. And here's the final mind-blowing thought. If revival technology is ever developed, the people who chose cryonics will be proven right. They'll wake up in a future beyond our imagination, while everyone who dismissed the idea will be gone forever. Which of these cases impressed you the most? Would you dare to be frozen for a chance at a second life? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more content exploring the future of humanity. See you in the next one, or maybe in the future.